This is Rob Tebbutt for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined by former WBO super welterweight champion of the world, Liam Smith. Always get confused. We've got the Callum Smith super middleweight, Liam Smith light middleweight. Now you're at middleweight. How are you, Liam?
I'm good, mate. You? Good.
Very well, thanks. Very well. Excited for this fight, as I'm sure you are.
Yeah, massively excited for it. You know, once a big fight gets announced, and then obviously press conferences, when you see the buzz around it, you know, it just gets you excited towards these fights.
January the 21st. Now, of course, that wasn't the date that was initially floated. I know there was considerable efforts to try and get the fight before Christmas. Talk to us about the reasons why we're seeing this in January and not December.
I just thought, you know, I had something on in the start of December, like the end of November. Start of November. Kept me out the gym for a week or two. And I just thought, you know what? December 17th is going to come too quick. It was 5.5 weeks, I think, at the time. Or maybe it was dead on 6. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not rushing to please Chris and to please Sky, Boxer and Wasserman. I'm going to wait and do it on my terms and delay it a couple of weeks and I'll fully take it. So, you know, thankfully all teams delayed it and I'll be 100% on January 21st. And, you know, I delayed it for me because I know at 100% I'll beat Chris.
What does that say about you as a fighter at this stage of your career? I mean, everybody would have loved to get paid before Christmas, have a nice turkey and what have you, and relax, but you didn't. You decided to go through that hard graft over Christmas and fight in January. What does that say about this? You at this stage of your career?
I think it speaks everything about what I'm saying about this fight. I could have fought, you know, I'm never going to not make 160, so I could have fought in 6 weeks' time, took me money, had me Christmas, and not cared about the result. I took it January, I delayed it because I know me at 100% beats Chris, and then obviously it's what comes after that. So I just think it speaks for itself, really. I know that if I turn up 100%, I'll beat Chris.
You're known as a come-forward fighter, very cute on the inside and making fights, you know, rough and tough and kind of having your success in that close distance. Now, we've seen in the past with Chris Eubank Jr. against Billy Joe Saunders, George Groves, able to neutralise him from distance. How are you going to approach this fight? Obviously, without saying too much on the camera, is this fight yours from... Are you going to have to fight on the inside? Are you going to take little bits and pieces from what you've seen in the past, or a bit of both?
Look, I think it's going to be a bit of both because I think Chris under Roy tries to box and flick his jab like Roy does, and I feel I'll capitalise on that all day. Fundamentally wise, I'm too good for him in that department. So he's athletic and he can try it, but when he's making mistakes and being punished for them, I think he'll revert to type and he'll come to try and have a fight and use his size advantage.
You mentioned that kind of revert into type. Do you feel like he's stuck between styles? That seems to be one of the criticisms, I guess, of Chris Eubank Jr.
Of course, and I've openly said that. I said that before I was matched with him. I said that as soon as I was talked about an opponent for him. You know, I hope I get the Chris Eubank before Liam Williams. I hope I get that. And I feel I might get that under Roy, but with Williams, he started off and he put Williams down early, round 1, I think it was. So he had it all basically his own way, in a sense. He got to 10-8 rounds, so he was allowed to relax and flick his jab and do what you know, whatever he wanted, really. I feel like when he's not doing that, he'll try and have a fight. And obviously, my point of view, that's probably when I feel Chris is at his best. His fitness and his durability. He's never been blessed with, you know, boxing skills and boxing IQ.
Spoke to your brother Callum, and I was very careful about saying it, but I'll say it to you. No, you know, you're not getting any younger. Making 160 here, surely. I mean, people are talking about the natural size advantage for Chris, but not having to boil yourself down to 154. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be something that you're looking forward to not having to do.
Yeah, but look, don't be confused by it. I still have to boil down to 160. I don't see 160. I never ever see 160 on a scale. The only time I see one, like, the day before the weigh-in, I go right past 160 to 154. All this is going to do is make the weight cut not as tough. Chris is also 33, you do know that, don't you? People are forgetting. Don't let the grey hair fool you. I'm 34, Chris is 33. There's not much in this, in that sense. Chris is also maybe finding it hard to do 160 now also. And I think his last 3 fights, he hasn't done 12 rounds in a pace that he's done in the past. So questions are out on Chris at 160 also.
You turned up today looking like Colonel Sanders. Yeah, you are an unflappable character. Not many things get under your skin, despite Kalle Sauerland saying that he felt that he was. What do you make of all of that camaraderie?
No, I think Kalle was trying to help the situation. I think me mainly calling him at sit. I think Kalle thought, ooh, it's under the skin, but you know what I mean. I just think, like, you know, what jacket is that? I don't care how much they're paying you. I don't think they're paying you at all, by the way. You're mad if you think KFC is sponsoring Chris Eubank. But, you know, the jacket is horrendous. But it's part of him. He likes playing that game, you know what I mean? If that's the way he wants to be, good luck to him. But, you know, we come out to the Conor Ben fight with a bit of praise and a bit of credibility. He's probably going to lose it all again now by saying 50% and coming in with that jacket on.
What about the sparring stories? You hear things and bits and pieces through the grapevine. There was referenced up there. I spoke to Canelo, I spoke to Chris Eubank Jr. What's your recollection of those spars?
Just, we sparred. I'm confident what I can take from them spars. Again, I'm just from them spars. I know I can handle Chris Eubank. You know, he's fit. He's good. He's a good athlete. I don't think he takes a body shot very well. And you know, again, he can have all the greatest chin in the world. I think he's like that from the side when you look at him sides on. So, you know, I know batter his head, not batter his body, and we'll see how tough he is then.
We're in the gym with Joe Mack, which is now a growing stable. Of course, you've got a certain Josh Taylor, of course, preparing for what we expect to be his rematch with Jack Catterall. What does that say about the gym? That you've got not only yourself, obviously experienced former world champion, you've got the likes of Kevin Agyarko, you've got Josh Taylor. What does that say about that gym at the minute?
Yeah, obviously the gym's thriving at the minute. It's getting better and better, and fully deserved. You know, Joseph and Declan getting a bit of credit by the stable they're getting. You know, there's a load to mention. I don't want to mention them all because I missed one out and I feel terrible. But I will try and mention them all. Me, Kevin, Josh, JJ, Frankie Stringer, Thomas Hart, Scott Forrest. Have I missed anyone? No, I don't think I have. But yeah, just a growing stable, a very good stable. Good, you know, there's a good atmosphere in the gym now, and it's a good gym to be a part of.
What have you made of having Josh Taylor in there? Of course, despite, you know, vacating a few belts here and there, is still considered to be the #1 fighter at 140 pounds. What have you made of him up close? Yeah,
obviously, you know, seen him spar. Feel he's, you know, getting back to getting his timing and all that back now, and you know, again, that's a fight that I'd be very interested in as a fan. You know, the last fight was a great fight with him and Jack. But you know, Josh, as a person, feel like he's gelling well more and more with Joseph and Declan. The longer he's having with them, the more he's gelling with them. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Spoke to Chris Eubank Jr. up there. He's already talking about, you know, potentially fighting Canelo Alvarez, potentially fighting Gennady Golovkin. What do you make of all of that?
Again, just take it as a pinch of salt. Why is he chasing Canelo when he's saying, I haven't fought no one as good as him, but he's chasing a fight with somebody who's beat me? You know, I'll laugh, but again, he'll never fight Canelo Alvarez.
You could maybe bring Canelo over here this time and you could box him in Liverpool. What do you reckon?
I'll fight Canelo at 160. No, obviously a special fighter, but again, I feel Chris hasn't fought him for a reason, because he's never got to that level, and I don't think he will get to that level because, again, the rematch clause has been put in place for a reason. So I think once I beat Chris January 21st, we know which way he goes next, and that's probably a rematch with myself.
The rematch clause is kind of a hot topic, of course. I mean, Calo, despite what he says there, he did tell me there was no rematch clause, which is on camera. Go check that out on ID Boxing. There was no rematch clause initially for the Conor Ben fight. That didn't happen. There is, of course, one for here. Do you take confidence from that? Are you not bothered?
Not bothered at all. I'm just stating a fact. Like, you know, if I'm easier than Conor Ben, why is the rematch clause in this and there wasn't with Conor? And again, I feel sorry because I keep dragging Conor's name into something, but it is what it is. I'm just stating facts. I don't care if there's a rematch clause in. It's better for me. I'll get double the money next time round when I beat you. But I beat him once, I'll beat him twice. That's what I look at it. But I'm just correcting him. If I'm an easier fight than your last fight, why is the rematch clause in this and not in your last fight? If I'm an easier fight than your last fight, why are you paying Roy Jones to fly over here from the United States to come and coach you? Why not keep your money? Don't pay a percentage out to Roy. If I'm an easier fight, train yourself. Let Ronnie train you. But the answers don't fit the questions, and that's why I'm just stating it.
Get past Chris Eubank Jr. on January the 21st, and if the rematch happens, you know, beat him again. Surely the lure of becoming a two-weight world champion, Janibek Alimhanoli's got the WBO at 160 pounds. That's got to be a huge carrot to dangle, as well as those two potential big paydays against Chris. Yeah,
obviously now I've got an incentive now that I can possibly be a two-weight world champion. Never mind, it's just a two-time world champion. So it puts me in a great position. I'll have options. I'll have options on a rematch. I'll have probably options to challenge at 160. If I get onto the WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF and say, look, I can still make 154. I'm pretty sure I won't lose my rankings there. You know, beating Chris is not going to make me lose any rankings or make me drop in any rankings. So I just think, again, I beat Chris on January 21st. I'm sitting in a very, very good position again.
Okay, and with that in mind, how does that fight end? January the 21st, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith.
A Liam Smith win.
Liam, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to ID Boxing. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Nice one, mate. Thanks.